Welcome back to the Frontline. Today we have with us displaced Kuki-Zo medical students who have been through tremendous challenges and ordeals ever since the onset of the ethnic cleansing that happened on the 3rd of May. And recently they were barred from appearing for their Phase 1 examinations despite the National Medical Commission's permission to conduct examinations wherever it is applicable for them. Let us now turn to our guests. Before delving into the specifics, let us start off with a brief introduction. So can you please tell us a bit about yourselves?
My name is Kamsulal. I am currently doing my first year Mbbs, Sija Academy of Health Science.
My name is Arun Liansenit. I'm currently doing my MBBS Phase 1 from the Regional Institute of Medical Sciences in Imphal.
My name is Nimnongman Valte. I'm currently in my first year, in my first MBBS in Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences, Imphal.
My name is Edi Chinay Kim. I am a student, first year MBBS in Jenims, Imphal.
I am Florence Ningnay Vabaite, pursuing first year BDS in RIMS Dental College.
Xintian Hui, first year MBBS RIMS.
I am Mang Tian Vian, first year MBBS Shija Academy of Health Science.
My name is Let Intang Kong Sai, currently pursuing first year MBBS and Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences, Imphal.
Okay, let us now move on with the interview. I would like to talk about your experiences on the 3rd of May. Navigating a violent mob is indeed a very traumatic experience for everyone. So can you please tell me your experiences that evening? Tell us the overview situation of that evening.
As a victim of such said violence as myself, I can vocalize the obvious fact that it was quite traumatizing, mentally disturbing to even try to recollect the bitter memories that we had that had deeply scarred our mental health. In fact, it's a part of a memory I've been trying hard to erase. Uh, you know, After sojourning in the relief camp for nearly a week, starved, empty-pocketed, and frozen every night as we had to sleep on the open ground for almost a week. We barely made it to safety zone with hearts and mind full of confusion. As on 3rd May, it was quite calming and normal as usual until late afternoon when we heard the sounds of electric poles being hit on all four sides together mobs, and then the sound of tear gas being fired to disperse the mobs, and then we could see smokes and fires from burning houses. So the thought and the sight of those mentally disturbing images, we we had nothing left to do but to pack our bags uh, and waiting to be evacuated. And on 4th May, the real problem happened on 4th May when seniors and our friends around 6:35 p.m. when they came hurriedly sprinting toward us, telling us that the hostel one was broken into by the local mobs. So they told us that we had to be evacuated to safety somewhere else, or we had to hide in the hostel. We were in the hostel tree, so we had to hide in the hostel tree somewhere safe. So uh, it was nearly impossible to be evacuated immediately. So we had to hide in the second floor in a dark room for about 20 to 30 minutes. So uh, we almost waited for some moments, and then some moments later, our seniors they quietly came and told us that the only way to survive the night was to quickly move to the hospital wards where we could disguise ourselves as attending doctors. So taking our aprons and stethoscope with us, we hurriedly moved downstairs where on the ground floor we were intercepted by our wardens and our seniors, where they told us that they had arranged an evacuation, an ambulance for us. So we waited for our seniors who went into hiding in the college campuses for about 10 to 15 minutes. So after a while, we even up until that moment, we were unsure as to where the drivers of that ambulance would take us, whether they would hand it of us over to the mobs. So we were unsure up until 8 p.m. where we reached to safety. We reached the frozen camp safely by God's grace.
On May 3rd, our institute announced that all of us should stay in the hostel and that no one should go out from the hostel. So thinking that it will be thinking that our college will protect us from the mobs, we were feeling safe at our hostel, so we don't decide to run out from our hostel. And but then on May 4, a new notice has come that they told us to leave the hostel and our life is at our own risk. So we have no choice but to leave the hostel. And but then when I called around my relatives, no one was there to pick me up, and everyone has already went to their safety place. So I was feeling so hopeless because if I go by my own, then what I could have encountered an incident which is unwanted incident. So I called up my local guardian, pleading him to come and save me, because even him, he was already at a safety place. So even him, he came and saved me in a life and death situation, bravely. So he picked me up, and we went to an MLS house, thinking that it would be safe. But when we reached their gate, just a few meters away from their gate, we saw mobs burning the church. Like there were lots of people, and they saw us, but then luckily we could escape. We could escape the mob, and enter the residence. And from the residence, we heard the news that the MLA also got brutally tortured, and then so we don't feel safe anymore since he is our only hope who could save us. So we went in from we climbed the fencing from their backyard, in order to save our life, and went directly to the CRPF camp.
Just to make it clear to the viewers, this MLA you're talking about is Sir Wungzagin Walte, right?
Yes.
So at my institute on the 4th of May, the security were strengthened, or so we're informed. But what's disturbing to know is that a church which we have been going to for evangelical union, it was burned down despite the strengthened security. So we knew we weren't safe. So we called up everyone that we could. So fortunately for us, at the night of 4th May, an army truck came to take away the patients at RIMS Hospital. So while we were running for our lives in the hospital wards, our seniors have saw that army vehicle, so we escaped through that vehicle to the CRPF camp. So that's how we escaped.
So these are the very grueling experiences and details of their experiences on the evening of May 3rd. Given how she also shared that an MLA of the state government was not safe, there was no way for all of you to keep on staying in Imphal, as it was to the greatest extent very unsafe. So now I would like you all to share your experiences on what steps did you take What we already have heard about the circumstances that led to your escape, but what steps were taken by all of you to ensure that you all were safe and sound at a protected place? So, can you tell us how you escaped or the steps that were taken to ensure your safety that evening?
Looking at all those incidents that happened on 3rd May in and around the state. So since the 4th May morning, we made a number of calls to number of people, to CSO, naming them would be KSO, Kuki and others as well. We made number of calls to them as well, but the problem was they were also stuck somewhere else, some into hidings, and then some were in relief camps, and it was quite impossible for them to help us. Actually, they had no means to help us at all. So we sought and we begged help from the Jennings authorities, the directors, the wardens, and uh, the only consolation we got from them was that they were there for us, and that nothing was going to happen to us. That was the only thing they console us with, and they didn't tell us how and when. So we were quite disappointed with the outcomes and the results we got from them.
Actually, our seniors had went to consult the director for extra security, but like no proper attention was given to us. They added like only like 4 securities, like 1 security person per hostel, and which for a mob, I highly question that security. And also, since we were feeling unsafe, the night at the night as the night approached, we decided that two of us who are the Kuki-Zo, 2 of us would huddle together in one room each, and so that we can feel more comforted, we'd dim our lights and stay quiet the whole night if we had to stay the whole night. But as the night approached and we heard of the news of Jennings, and then also at the evening, since the church was burned, as our friend has said, we decided that it was only safe if we hid in the wards. So that's where we started our plan to either hide in the wards or hide anywhere in the institute where it could be safe. So proceeding with that, we hid in the wards, and luckily, I would say. 2 SRs belonging to, I think they were from the mainland. They helped us out. We asked them to hide us in the ortho ward, showing that we were medical students of this institute and we are currently feeling unsafe. And they hid us in the ortho ward that night. And then, like our sister mentioned, as the night proceeded, we heard of a vehicle which was evacuating a patient, a disabled patient belonging to the Kuki-Zo community, and then we went and communicated with the army who had come to escort them, and then we, as they allowed us, we went and joined them. And if I were to add, regarding the nursings also who are in the same institute, they felt even more unsafe than us. They even climbed over a fence and hid behind in the neighboring department. So also when we were escorted, I remember the army mentioning that if if any of your officials had contacted us earlier, we would have evacuated you easily, but no official contact was made to us. That's what they had mentioned to us.
But you are their students, so isn't it their duty to make sure to ensure your safety? Why do they need some validation from another authority? As a college authority, isn't that their duty and their job?
Yes, we feel that that was their duty, but
It was an excuse.
yeah, we're not sure what exactly would be their standpoint in this case, but we feel like we were a bit neglected and ignored.
And as you mentioned, there were nurses in your institute
Yes,
too.
they were nurses.
And they were very scared.
Yes, they were very scared.
And rightly so, because we have Kuki-Zo nurses who were brutally assaulted that night. We have heard their testimonies.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
After we were escorted by the army to the camp, we stayed in the camp for roughly around a week. As we were young medical students, we've never experienced this before. Totally unprepared. We didn't even have simple supplies like water, and food also was becoming a question. And also we didn't have proper elderly support to comfort us, and feeling totally scared throughout the whole experience. And also, as during nights, since most of us hid in the ward and we didn't want to be suspected of being hidden, we didn't take any extra clothing with us. So at nights, when it was extremely cold during those days, we had only our lab coat, which was actually supposed to be a symbol of the medical fraternity, but now we had to resort it as our blankets. And so as for me, spent roughly about a week in the camp, after which um, uh, since the camps, the safety of the camps were being questioned, and rumors started spreading. They said it would be best if you could evacuate via airport, and then after that through any other state. So we made contact to our relatives and whoever on the other state who could book flights for us. After which we went to the airport, and then we stayed at the airport for around again few days. After that, we went to for me, I went to Delhi. After that, Delhi, but since uh, home was at Lamka, where that was the safest place for us right now, where our parents is, where we could feel
Yes.
comfort and we could feel safe. So we decided the best decision would be to go back to where our home was. So the venture, which normally would have been a 1 hour adventure from via Imphal to Lamka, now became like a long and expensive adventure via Delhi, after which we had to go to Aizawl, and then via Aizawl, a 12-hour road journey to our home at Lamka. So uh, this is the journey we took, roughly for most of us, the journey we took to reach back home, and to actually get that small amount of comfort through that experience.
When in reality, the distance between Imphal and Lamka is just an hour, half an hour, 1 hour and 30
Something,
minutes, right? Something like that.
something like that.
So you had to travel all the way just to feel safe.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so going back to my previous question, all of you reached out to the concerned CSOs or your local guardians or your relatives, but by the time you had contacted every Kuki-Zo residing in Imphal had already fled to army camps, or they were already in hiding. So your calling for help was redundant. In this situation, as you've mentioned, all your institute, be it CISA, JANIMS, or RIMS, they are located in Imphal, and they are located, and most importantly, are located in neighborhoods where the population of the people are Meiteis. So, in that situation, did you ask for help to, I don't know, maybe your peers or your classmates or your college authorities? Did you receive any help from the other side of the community? As you've mentioned, there was uh, a senior who was from mainland India who had helped you. But apart from that, people from the Meitei community, did you seek help, or was there or do you have an experience where they helped you?
Given that the conflict is between our people and the Métis, we dare not seek their help. We don't know what the responses could be. But luckily, on the night when we were in hiding in the wards, without our request, several seniors, Métis seniors, 5 to 6 of them, they were assisting us up until we reached up until the vehicle, the army vehicle, transported us out. So we were very grateful for that. But unfortunately, the experience is not the same for all institute.
In fact, about that, we got not only emotional and moral support, but also physical support from seniors and peers in Janim's boys hostel. So in fact, while in fact they were the ones who hurriedly sprinted toward us when the hostel one was uh, broken into by the local mobs. They told us, and they kept us updated with the informations and the situations happening in the college campus while we were into hidings. And in fact, while we were into hidings for about 20 to 30 minutes, they were the ones who came up with the idea that we had to take our aprons and our stethoscope to quickly move to the hospital wards where we could disguise ourselves as attending doctors. And then on doing so, we were, like being mentioned before, we were intercepted by our wardens and seniors. Seniors, where they told us that an evacuation had been arranged for us. And it's. I want to also mention the fact that our seniors, not from the Métis community, the Naga seniors also, they even helped us a lot, not only of the physical support but also of moral and emotional as well.
Okay. I'm sure that must have not been easy for all of you to revisit that again. So now let's delve into the main issue at hand. There are a total of 120 displaced Kuki-Zo medical students in the state, and currently 29 first-year medical students who have been displaced as an aftermath of the violence that took place on the 3rd of May. Ever since you've reached Lamka, have you continued your classes, or was it a smooth sailing experience to continue your classes, or what was the process like?
We have started attending classes with the non-displaced CMC students from the 19th of June.
Chuchampur Medical College.
Yes, ma'am. We strictly follow the NMC prescribed competency-based curriculum. We completed it, and we also conducted PCTs, internal assessments, which included practicals, vivas, to assess our capability and our knowledge.
So you have continued your classes here in Chuchampur Medical College, which is CMC.
The classes which we attended weren't official arrangements.
Okay.
Yeah, these actually it was more like the class was organized for the non-displaced CMC students, but they, out of a helping hand, also as grace and compassion towards us, we also were very grateful towards them, and then they welcomed us to join these classes, and also the classes was mostly conducted in that way. So no official arrangement was actually made by our parent institutes actually in regarding this matter, but it was all like a grace from the non-displaced CMC students and the faculties.
Okay, and if I remember correctly, there are numerous other community teaching faculties who were displaced from CMC as a result of the violence. So are there enough teaching faculties for all of you, or are there enough or proper facilities is being provided for you to continue your studies?
Regarding the facilities, I would say it is without a question enough, or definitely meets the minimum requirements. But there might be a few lacking, as it is still a new institute. If you were to compare it to a really professional institute, I'd say it wouldn't reach up to the mark. But since it's an institute already certified by the NMC with enough facilities for the first year MBBS, so our facilities would definitely meet the minimum requirement, but there would be some parameter fields in which it's lacking. And regarding the faculties, the teachers who have volunteered or who have currently teaching us recently till recent date prior to the exams, they are more than capable, I would say more than competent teachers, as they are all either displaced from Imphal Institute's SRs or currently working CMC SRs. So their qualification, I would say, is very competent. But regarding the whether the number and the faculties, if it could be improved, then definitely that would be more than well appreciated. But currently, as it's standing, I would say it's very the faculties and the facilities definitely meet the minimum requirements
And
for the first year. For the first year only. For the first year only.
And if you were to reach out to the concerned authorities regarding these requirements that the students need, if you were to put forth your demands, what would those be?
So as far as the facilities for the first years are concerned, I can say that they have met the bare minimums. But from the second year, third year, final years, interns and PGs, there are no adequate facilities or infrastructure for them. There are no lab equipments for those years. And for the interns, there is no surgeon to guide them in their surgery postings. So that is the case for our seniors. And even if by God's grace that we could if we could somehow give our exams and pass the first years, the facilities are not enough for the second years and subsequent. So the CMC is not adequate to house all the displaced medical students.
And is this the first time that all of you have put forth these demands and requirements, or you've reached out to your authorities before?
Yes, we did reach out. We sent several representations to our direct. We even sent several representations to our directors. In fact, we sent the first letter that we sent was, I think, on the 21st of May. We asked them to arrange an alternate and to arrange an alternative for us displaced students. We had expected them to at least arrange online classes for us, but
Okay, go on.
to help us continue our studies. We reached out to the Commissioner of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Manipur. We reached out to the Chief Secretary. We reached out to the Governor. We reached out we even reached out to them through several CSOs like KSO, JSB, and even the CMO sent a letter to the Chief Secretary.
So to make it clear to the viewers, KSO here stands for Kuki Students Organization and JSB stands for Joint Students Body. And what were their responses?
We did not get any response. Our requests, our several pleas were sidelined, and then till date.
No response till
Yes,
date.
ma'am.
Okay.
I like to add something. By the letter dated 12 June, the UGMEB NMC granted permission which allowed classes of offline classes for the CMC displaced students to be conducted at Imphal.
We have sent multiple requests to the government of Manipur, but despite that, on date 9 June, the Commissioner of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Manipur, made a request to the NMC allowing the displaced students of CMC to continue their classes at Imphal. However, we were not mentioned in the letter despite letting them know that we were displaced too. And the UGMEB replied to that, and on date 12, they granted permission for the continuation of classes for CMC displaced students. However, there was no response for us, and we feel that there is a discrimination between us and the CMC students because there was no hesitation in complying to their requests. However, they did not respond to our multiple pleas.
So this response was specifically for the original CMC students and not for all of the displaced students.
Yes.
Okay. There was a recent event which had garnered a lot of attention. It was about a sit-in protest that all of you had organized on the 21st of November. Can you tell us why it was organized and why it was held?
It was organized mainly because of the continued educational negligence that has been shown to us. Despite many efforts from our side to be able to appear the exams or to be acknowledged that we're going to we're trying hard for to be qualified for the exams. We were not acknowledged of our work were not acknowledged, and our education was neglected, and also it has and also the everyone in power, the decision makers, had 7 long months to take care of our problems, but their actions were slow and late, which resulted in us not appearing for the exams. And that is why, to show our dissatisfaction, we organized a protest that day.
So you were not allowed to sit for the exams, which is not just for the MBBS students, but for the BDS students as well, which was supposed to be conducted on the 13th, 14th of November, and for the MBBS students on the 21st of November. So how did you find out you were not allowed to sit for the exam? Is this something that was anticipated from before, or did you find out on the day of the examination itself?
For the case of MBBS, we were hopeful to give the exams because we have paid our fees, submitted our examination forms via the DC. But when we learned about just 2 days before the exams that the exam questions, papers, and answer sheets came only for the 6 CMC students, so we were disheartened. We realized that we were not going to be able to give the exams because just 6 exam papers came for the CMC students. So we were hopeful at first, but we realized that we were not to give the exams. So that's why we organized the protest on the 21st. But for the case of BDS, my friend can say.
Okay, for BDS first year, there are two BDS first year, two BDS Kuki-Zo dental students. Then one is from RIMS, one is from Janims. And our case, it's different for both RIMS and Janims. For Janims, my friend, he even got his university exam form. He even got his admit cards. Admit form. The form for the admit cards. But for RIMS, they 100% refused to give out even my exam form. But for Janims, they give out. So my friend get to fill up his exam registration form, his admit card form. And he even paid the money. But for me, I was not even given the chance to fill up also. Like the institute, like they just denied even giving me my examination form. And but we were assured by the DC that he is going to get the question paper for us. And on the 13th, we got a call from one of the teacher in CMC that we both the two dental students would come to CMC to give our exams because the DC had promised to get the question paper. So with that hope, we really tried our best. We studied, we prepared for the exam, and on 14th we went to CMC to give our exam. Then we got a call from the DC, and he said that he's so sorry that he could not get the question paper, so we just had to leave the examination hall just like that.
So despite all of the hiccups, you still prepared for the examination in hopes that you will be allowed to sit for it.
Yes, like we really did try our best to give the exam. Honestly, when I see the question paper that my friend sent, it was like, of course, like if I were to give the exam, I'm pretty confident that I'll pass, of course. But it's just that we were not even given the chance to give the exam.
That is truly unfortunate. And in relation to everything that all of you have just shared, I would just like to read out this notice issued by the National Medical Commission allowing alternative arrangement or any kind of modalities which is preferable or convenient for the students. The university notice reads, and I quote, "The NMC has no objection if displaced students appear in the university examination from parent college or from a different college. University may take decision after due consultation with colleges and state authorities." And in regards to this notice, if I'm not wrong, the displaced students in Imphal the ones who were displaced from CMC have exercised this right, and they were allowed to appear for examination in Imphal, if I'm not wrong. And at the same time, you guys were barred from appearing for your examination. So did you reach out to the concerned authorities regarding this?
Yes. As soon as the notice for the routine for the university exam was out in September 11, uh, we immediately reached out via our ADC on the 29th of September, requesting to the Commissioner of Health and Family Welfare to make an arrangement for our exams. This was again followed on the 19th of October, where another letter was sent to the CS, and then later followed on the 25th to the DCI of to the DCI secretary, and then later on the 26th reminder letter to the CS, and then again followed on the November 2nd, and even on the 4th, 6th, and even on the 11th, several letters were sent. Some of about roughly 8 to 9 letters were sent to all the concerned authorities. This was also followed by submission of examination forms, even the examination fees, and but despite all this, even despite the NMC giving us no objection, the Manipur University or the concerned authorities, the state seem to make it as seem to make the criteria of attendance and our internal assessments as the main yardstick for our qualification of our examination. But they yeah, they made no alternative arrangement when we alternative arrangement was requested, and they used that again as a catalyst for now our ineligibility for giving our exams. So uh, right, our right to equality had been denied in this case because the CMC students were given alternative arrangement, and because of their alternative arrangement, they were able to meet their requirements and officially, and they were able to conduct their exams. But in our case, no alternative arrangements was made, and also now the criteria for attendance and eligibility was now being questioned, despite us attending classes in CMC. Though they didn't make the alternative arrangement, but we made our own self-arranged arrangements. But now again, they made this as an issue, and on as of now, we've been unable to give our university examinations, which are the other displaced CMC students were able to give. But regarding us, the displaced Kuki-Zo were unable to give our university examinations.
Even for the examination, they had sent materials and question papers specifically for the non-displaced CMC students, but
Yes.
not for all of you.
Not for all of us, yes.
And now that we are on the topic of internal assessment and attendance, there was a recent clarification on the 24th of November. It was a clarification by Dr. Aruna V. Vanikar, President UGMEB, to the Dean of Medical Sciences of Manipur University. And the clarification reads, since the course, which is your course, consists of internal assessment and attendance, it cannot be relaxed as medical education deals with human life, which is precious. And at the start of the interview, you did mention that you had completed all the required criteria for the examination. You had completed the formalities regarding viva or practical or attendance. Were they sent by CMC to the university? Were they accepted? Because if those were accepted, because it was sent, right? If it was sent and if it was accepted, then on what grounds were you not allowed to sit for the examination?
Regarding the attendance and the internal assessments, we have sent up our attendance and internal assessment marks to the MU, but as of now, we have not received any official responses from them, and the criteria that they have provided was attendance and adequate staff and facilities. About attendance, we have joined the classes with the CMC students. We have completed the competency, and we have taken all the exams and PCTs. And about the staffs and faculties, the staffs are competent enough. They are qualified doctors, and The facilities, we have been sharing them with the non-displaced CMC students, and we do not know why we were debarred from giving the exam when we shared the same facilities and they were allowed and we were not.
So all of you did complete the required
Yes.
Okay. So have you, and the internal assessment and attendance marks were sent to the university.
Yes.
And have you received any response whether it was accepted or not?
We have not received any official responses from them.
Okay.
So the MU questioned the credibility of our attendance and staff and facilities. However, what we want to ask is that why have they not made any responses when we asked for alternate arrangements so that we could have met those eligibility criteria provided by them. We have made so many requests, multiple letters were sent asking for alternate arrangements, but no responses was given to us. However, they questioned the credibility of our self-arranged classes and attendance.
Is this a clear, do you believe that this is a clear infringement and violation of your right to education?
Yes, starting from the beginning, about the arrangement of classes for displaced CMC students, there was no hesitation in providing them the alternate solution. However, there was no responses for us, and that we feel is a clear discrimination from their side.
What do you think is the solution to this? What changes or improvements would you like to see in the existing legal framework which can put an end to discrimination and unjust treatment of the Kuki-Zo students?
I think after this violence started, I think I'll be talking about the medical students' problems. So there are three things that has been violated. First is the right to life, and second is the right to equality, and the third is the right to education. So first, when we talk about the right to life, according to the letters and the sent by the UGMEB, they said that if it's possible, the students can go back to their respective parent colleges and study there with the security with if the enough security is provided. But seeing the situation, like as we had all faced that traumatizing spirit of our life, so it's like it's really against the right to life, because how do they expect us to go back in that institute? Like, will they be able to provide enough protection for us? Will they be with us whenever we go to classes? There are more than like 100 Kuki-Zo medical students. So for all the 120 medical students, will they be provide enough security for all of us? So which is basically impossible for them as well. And so it's a violation to our right to life as well, so we can't go back there. So what we want is for them to provide an alternative arrangement, or to migrate us somewhere where we can study without any fear of our life being threatened. And second would be our right to equality. The thing is, as we have already heard about the pleas that we have sent to several concerned authorities, the like we have been discriminated in a sense, like based on caste, also based on our maybe religion also. We have been totally discriminated and left out. Like like when they send the letter to NMC for to provide alternative arrangement, they just sideline the Kuki-Zo medical students. They just mention specifically for their community. We would understand it if we didn't ask them, we didn't request, or we didn't send a letter to them telling them to requesting them to make an alternative arrangement for us. But still then they have heard about our request, they have seen our request, but still then they still treat us differently. So that is which is really against our right to equality, which is really discrimination against our community. And the third one would be our right to education. Education is like it should be provided to everyone despite of their caste, religion. But as you can see, they education right now for all the medical students from first year till the PGs, we are deprived of our education right now. Like there is no facilities for from second year till the PGs, and for the even for the dental students, there is no institute for us to continue our studies right now in Lamka. And then like we can't go back to Imphal also. So like the all the you will see the all the Meiteis or the all the other communities in Manipur, they will get education. All of them will get their education. The only people who are deprived of their education is the Kuki-Zomi medical students. So it is against the right to education as well. So three things. So our it is this after this violence started, three rights has been violated. First is the right to life, second is the right to equality, and third is the right to education. All these have been violated. And we want to ask, why are these violated? We live in India, like it is a land of democracy, and we're like the constitution is totally against all these violations. So why is still this happening in India, where it is like all this should not happened? Why is this still happening when um, why is this still happening to our community? That is what we want to question today.
And the irony is that India is the world's largest democracy.
Yes, yes. India is the land of the world's largest democracy, but still, then the Kuki-Zomi medical students, we have been sidelined, we have been discriminated, we have been denied our right to life, we have been denied our right to equality, we have been denied our right to education. That's the worry. Like that's the real problem right now. And one more thing I would like to add is, like, if one doctor could save thousands of lives, there are 120 medical and dental students, Kuki-Zomi medical and dental students right now. So if one doctor can save thousands of lives in their lifetime, how much more lives can this 120 Kuki-Zomi medical and dental students can save? That's the question. Like, why are they still not taking up this problem? It's like they are trying to cut off the whole generation by not giving education to the future doctors.
And this question that you've just put is relevant now more than ever, especially after the COVID pandemic and the role that the healthcare workers had taken during this very difficult time and the vast destruction that the world had seen. So, what do you think is the solution to this?
The solution, as we have always asked for, is to let us continue our education. Whatever it is, like, the solution is for us to continue our studies. We can't just be left out like this. 7 months have already passed. 7 months, it's like a lot of time. We have sacrificed so much to get seats in these colleges. We have sacrificed so much. We have spent a lot of times, a lot of years to get into these medical colleges. And now, after getting into the college, when we are supposed to get our degree, like, some of us, as you all know, some are in their some are doing their some are in their final years, some are in their interns, some are in their PGs. Like, we are all in our facing different phases. So the only solution right now is to give us education. We don't want any other thing. Just give the Kuki medical and dental students education so that they could be of help to the society. Like, we really need this healthcare services. Like, who is going to come to our place and save the people? Like, we especially the Kuki-Zo community, like, there are a lot of like doctors lacking in our community, like maybe specialization, whether it's in the dental field, whether it is in the medical fields. We're lacking a lot of doctors, but still, then the this 120 medical students, we are deprived of education, and then we are being left out just like this for almost 7 months now. So, like, the only solution right now is migration, because there is no way that we can go back to Imphal to continue our studies. As you all know, there are 2 dental colleges in Manipur and 4 medical colleges in Manipur. And there, for dental students, there is no way to continue our studies in Imphal, because both of them are situated in Imphal. That is, like, as I said, it would be a violation of our right to life. There is no way we can go back there. So for us, migration is the only solution. And even for MBBS students, and for them, since there is no facilities and faculties in this Churchanpur medical colleges, right now the solution is migration for them. We have been deprived of education for almost 7 months now. So the only solution that we have right now is to migrate to some other state colleges where we could continue our studies without further delay. Like immediately also, we just need this solution immediately. Like it should not be, we have waited for too long. It should not be delayed even for a day. Like I really want the concerned authorities to take up this, because this is a very grave and serious matter, because if the life of the future doctors are at stake, the lives of the people, the lives of the society are also at stake. That is what I want to say. So please, what we want right now is migration only solution. That's the thing. We can't go back to Imphal. We can't go back. We can't continue our studies in Manipur anymore. So like what we want is, we want to migrate to other colleges where we can continue our studies. So migration only solution. That is what I want to add.
Have you taken or have you been involved in any steps in order to put forth this demand, or have you been advocating for this cause?
We have been making several protests in the past 6 months. The first one was conducted back in June at Churchanpur College, then followed by CMC, and recently we held we go for a rally and for a protest again on 21 November. We also reach out to all the concerned authorities and that we know would be able to help us, including NMCs, including DCI, Ministry of Home Health and Family Welfare, Directorate of Health Service, everyone that we can think of. And we have met with 20 MPs from India Alliance, and we have sent out numerous memorandum. We have also reached out to all the media platform that we can so far, and we are active in Twitter, Instagram.
Have you received any support from the broader medical community or CSOs regarding this?
Yes, we have. The IMSA have also highlighted our fight for education in their Twitter and Instagram account. And the KSO, JSB have always been with us, fighting along with us.
And going forward, how do you think this medical community or the civil society organizations or student bodies can help or support you in any way so that you can achieve this goal of the Kuki-Zo medical students?
To answer that, first of all, I would like to emphasize that we are just Indian medical students, nothing else. Keeping aside religion, caste, everything, we are just students who want education. And as fellows practicing the same profession, wearing the same uniform, and pledging the same oath, we would like the broader medical fraternity to help us in our fight for education, to voice out our concerns, because they have a voice which can be heard all throughout the country, which we cannot reach out. And we would like them to voice out our concerns, help us, fight with us as we fight for education. They can highlight our problems in the social media. They can send their letters to the concerned authorities.
That was the last question. I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming out today and sharing your traumatic experiences and the ordeals that you have been through, since as a result, as an aftermath of this ethnic violence that has been going on since the 3rd of May, it must have not been easy for each one of you, no doubt. So going forward, I would like to wish you the very best of luck in all your future endeavors. Thank you. From everything that we have heard today, it is clear that the Kuki-Zo medical students have been sidelined, discriminated, and treated unjustly. This action of the state authorities are nothing but whimsical, arbitrary, and unjust, and also a clear infringement and violation of their right to education. We really pray and hope that the concerned authorities hear the desperate cry of these Kuki-Zo medical students and solve their problem going forward. Thank you.